Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Remember the days when mobile gaming was all about flinging birds at pigs or bouncing a little green alien up a never-ending tower? Yeah, we've come a long way since then. Mobile tech has absolutely exploded, and now our phones are more powerful than some old school consoles. That means we're not just stuck with simple tap and swipe games anymore. Nope, we're talking full-on classic PC experiences right in your pocket. Today, we're diving into some of the best PC games that have made their way over to Android. I'm talking about real-deal, high-quality ports that actually do justice to the originals. Whether you're into deep story-driven adventures or fast-paced action, there's something on this list that will make you say, wait, this runs on a phone? So grab your favorite snack and get comfy, because we're about to explore some absolute bangers that turned mobile gaming into a legit platform for serious gamers. I'm quickly moving
Very
on
small
to the
portion
video.
of the audience
Before we
is
start,
subscribed to the
if
channel.
you enjoy these types of lists,
Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos.
Enjoy watching.
Thanks.
Balatro is one of those games that sneaks up on you. At first glance, it looks like just another card game with some fancy visuals. But give it 5 minutes, and suddenly you are knee-deep in strategies, chasing high scores and thinking 3 hands ahead. It is a roguelike deck builder that takes the basic rules of poker and completely flips them on their head. You are still trying to make good hands, sure, but now you are throwing in joker cards, tarot cards, and all kinds of wild modifiers that turn your run into an unpredictable and addictive ride. What makes Balatro stand out is how perfectly it balances depth and simplicity. Anyone can pick it up and understand the basics in no time, but if you want to master it, that is a whole different story. The game constantly throws you curveballs, encouraging you to think creatively and build combos you would never expect to work. And just when you think you have seen it all, it hits you with a new card or synergy that opens up an entirely different way to play. It is the kind of game where you say, just one more run, and suddenly it is 2 in the morning. Honestly, if we are talking about the best PC games that made the jump to Android, Balatro deserves a spot near the top. It is smooth, snappy, and perfectly suited for mobile play. Whether you have a few minutes to kill or want to get lost in a long session, this one delivers. It was even nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards 2024, and once you try it, you will see why. It is clever, it is unique, and it is dangerously replayable. Grizz is one of those games that stays with you long after you put it down. It is not just a platformer, it is an emotional experience wrapped in a watercolor painting. You play as a young woman who has lost the colors of her world, and your goal is to slowly bring them back. But this is not just about pretty visuals. Each color represents a stage of grief, and the way the world changes as you progress is beautifully symbolic. The gameplay is simple but satisfying. You will be jumping across crumbling platforms, solving puzzles, and exploring surreal landscapes, all while soaking in the game's hauntingly beautiful soundtrack. There are no enemies, no health bars, and no rush. Grizz is not about challenge, it is about feeling something, and honestly, it delivers. The pacing is just right, giving you time to absorb every little detail, whether it is a gust of wind that pushes you back or a sudden burst of color that makes your heart skip a beat. Now, here is the best part. This emotional roller coaster is available on Android. That is right, a game that once made waves on PC and consoles can now be played on your phone, and the mobile port does not disappoint. The visuals are still stunning, and the touch controls feel surprisingly natural. So if you are in the mood for something more introspective, Grizz is absolutely worth having in your pocket. Just do not be surprised if it hits you right in the feels. If you are on the hunt for one of the best PC game trilogies ever brought to Android, you absolutely have to check out the Danganronpa series. This is not your average visual novel. It is an intense mix of mystery, dark humor, and psychological twists that will keep you glued to your screen. Imagine being trapped in a school with a bunch of talented high school students, while a creepy robotic bear forces you into a deadly game of survival. Yes, it is just as wild as it sounds, and somehow it works beautifully. What makes Danganronpa so addictive is the unique blend of gameplay. One moment you are bonding with your classmates, trying to figure out who you can trust, and the next you are investigating brutal murders and presenting evidence in dramatic class trials. These trials are fast, intense, and full of surprises. You have to think like a detective and act fast, because if you accuse the wrong person, it is game over, not just for you, but for everyone. It is like Phoenix Wright meets Battle Royale, but with even more plot twists. Now, let's talk about the Android ports. All 3 games in the trilogy are fully playable on mobile, and they look and feel fantastic. The controls are smooth, the visuals are sharp, and nothing is lost in translation from the original PC experience. Sure, the price tags might seem a little steep compared to most mobile games, but you are getting hours of top-tier storytelling and gameplay. If you love mysteries, plot twists, and a little bit of madness, the Danganronpa trilogy is a must-play. Let's talk about Her Story, a modern-day masterpiece that really brought full-motion video back into the spotlight. Now, FMV games were all the rage back in the 90s, with developers using real-life footage to create cinematic experiences, but as gaming evolved, FMV kind of fell out of favor. However, in 2015, Sam Barlow came in with Her Story and blew us away. This game is his first big solo project after leaving Climax Studios, and it might just be his finest work. Using FMV in such an immersive and unique way, Barlow tells a gripping murder mystery that will have you glued to the screen. What makes Her Story so captivating is the way it blends live action with gameplay. You're not just watching a movie unfold, you're actively solving the case. The game places you in front of a police database, where you search through interview clips to piece together the story of a woman named Hannah Smith. It's one of those games where every detail matters, and you're constantly on the edge of your seat trying to figure out what's going on. It's a fantastic example of how FMV can be used creatively to enhance the narrative and player experience, rather than just as a gimmick. Now, let's talk about how this masterpiece fits into the modern gaming world. Even though FMV is a rare sight these days, Her Story shows just how powerful the technique can be when done right. The game doesn't rely on flashy graphics or complex mechanics. It's all about storytelling and the mystery you're trying to unravel. If you've been craving something different from the usual gaming formula, Her Story might be exactly what you're looking for. And if you think FMV games are a thing of the past, this one will definitely change your mind. War games usually give us a pretty familiar experience. You're in the middle of a battlefield, guns blazing, and you're either fighting for your life or leading troops to victory. But this War of Mine flips the script in a way that really stands out. It's not about being a soldier with an arsenal at your disposal. It's about being a civilian trying to survive in a city torn apart by war. You'll need to manage resources, deal with the trauma of the people around you, and protect your group from not only soldiers, but also bandits who are just as desperate as you are. It's a survival game that makes you think about war from a totally different angle, unlike most games that focus on glory and heroism. This War of Mine is about the gritty, tough decisions that come with trying to stay alive when everything seems to be falling apart. You're not leading armies or blowing things up, you're looking for food, medicine, and supplies in a city that's crumbling around you. Every choice you make impacts your group's survival, and you have to balance helping others with taking care of your own. It's a deep dive into the emotional and physical toll that war takes on civilians, and it's pretty powerful. Now, what makes this game even cooler is that it's one of those PC games that actually made the jump to Android, giving mobile gamers a taste of this intense experience. The transition from PC to mobile isn't always easy, but this War of Mine pulled it off really well. The controls are optimized for touch, and despite being on a smaller screen, the atmosphere and emotional weight of the game are still very much present. So, if you're looking for a war story that's not about combat but about survival, this one's a must-try, especially if you're into those rare gems that give you a completely new perspective. When you think of iconic tactical strategy games, XCOM Enemy Within is undoubtedly one of the titles that pops up. While it's technically a part of the XCOM series, it's actually an expanded version of XCOM Enemy Unknown, which was released back in 2012. This game's tactical combat, combined with the compelling alien invasion story, quickly became a fan favorite. The real beauty of XCOM Enemy Within lies in its emphasis on decision making. Every move counts. You can't just charge in all guns blazing. You need to think ahead, plan out each turn, and sometimes make tough sacrifices. But let's be real, the magic of XCOM is the squad mechanics. The game asks you to manage a team of soldiers, each with their own set of skills and personality traits. It's not just about taking down aliens, it's about making sure your troops survive each mission and grow stronger over time. And then, there's the fun part. Customizing your soldiers with new abilities, weapons, and upgrades. You form a bond with your team, and when a beloved character falls in battle, it really hits hard. It's that connection to the characters that makes the game even more engaging. Now, the best part, XCOM Enemy Within is one of the most successful PC games that's been ported to Android. If you've ever wanted to take this epic alien war with you on the go, this is your chance. The mobile version does a great job of preserving the core tactical gameplay, even if you have to make a few adjustments for the smaller screen. It's a bit of a challenge at times, but that's what makes the game so rewarding. Every victory feels earned. If you haven't yet played this sci-fi masterpiece, now's the time to dive in, whether it's on your PC or Android device. When we talk about the most iconic and influential video games in history, there's no way to avoid bringing up Doom. Released in 1993 by the legendary ID Software, Doom is often credited as the pioneer of first-person shooters. It revolutionized the genre and set the foundation for every shooter that followed. But if you think the original Doom is where the story ends, think again, because Doom 2 Hell on Earth, released just a year later in 1994, took everything up a notch and cemented itself as the superior title. Now, I know comparing these classics to modern games like Doom Eternal might seem unfair, but hear me out. Despite its age, Doom 2 still offers one of the most satisfying demon-slaying experiences out there. The levels are tight, the action is relentless, and let's not forget, it introduced some epic enemies that would become staples in the Doom franchise. Doom 2 had more variety and was more refined than the original, making it the ultimate choice for fans looking for a perfect blend of challenge and nostalgia. But here's the thing, these games, despite being over 2 decades old, are still accessible today, especially on mobile. In fact, Doom and Doom 2 were among the first big PC games to be ported to Android devices. So if you're on the go and craving some classic action, you can dive into the chaos of hell right from your phone. And even though the graphics and mechanics have evolved over the years, the heart-pounding fun of blasting demons remains just as satisfying. It's a testament to how these games have stood the test of time, proving that the old-school formula still works wonders on modern platforms. Stardew Valley is the kind of game that lets you escape from the chaos of everyday life and dive into a peaceful, cozy world. Whether you're tending to your farm, fishing by the river, or just chatting with the quirky villagers, it's all about finding a rhythm and enjoying the simplicity. This farming and life simulation game doesn't just stop at planting crops though. You've got mining, animal care, festivals, and plenty of hidden secrets to uncover. And the best part? It's endlessly relaxing. You can spend hours without even realizing it, and when you look up, you'll find that you've just spent an entire day in Stardew Valley's charming little world. What really sets Stardew Valley apart from other life sims is its heart. The characters are what bring the world to life. Each one has their own backstory, personality, and quirks that make them feel like real people. Whether you're working on your relationship with the grumpy but lovable Shane, or helping the local carpenter, Robin, with her projects, you're always engaged with the world around you. The deeper you get into the game, the more rewarding it becomes, and there's always something new to look forward to, whether it's a new crop to plant, a new building to construct, or a new character to befriend. And let's not forget the fact that Stardew Valley is available on just about every platform, including Android. What makes it even more impressive is how seamlessly it translates to mobile. You can take this cozy, relaxing experience wherever you go, whether you're waiting for the bus or just lounging on the couch. The controls are intuitive and the graphics are as charming as ever, making it one of the best ports of a PC game to Android. If you're looking for a game that lets you unwind and sink into a relaxing, never-ending cycle of farm life, Stardew Valley is an absolute must-play. Dragon's Lair is one of those games that's not only a fun ride, but also a milestone in gaming history. Released in 1983, it was the very first game to introduce QuickTime Events, QTEs, a mechanic that has since become a staple in the industry. Now, if you're wondering what QuickTime Events are, they're those moments in a game where you have to press a button at the right time to perform an action, like dodging an attack or making a crucial move. You've probably seen them in many modern games, but it all started with Dragon's Lair, and it was one of the pioneers of the whole mechanic. Pretty cool, right? But that's not all. Dragon's Lair also holds another special claim to fame. It was one of the very first games released on Laserdisc. For those of you who aren't familiar with Laserdiscs, they were kind of like the grandparent of DVDs, and they allowed Dragon's Lair to deliver a game with animation that was top-notch for its time. And this wasn't just any animation, it was created by Don Bluth, a former Disney animator known for his hand-drawn animation. That gave the game a unique visual charm that made it stand out among other arcade games of the time. Now, let's talk about the gameplay. While Dragon's Lair may not be the most complex or deep game ever made, it's more about the experience. It's a thrilling, fast-paced adventure where you guide the hero, Dirk the Daring, through a series of perilous traps and enemies. You don't have much time to think, it's all about reflexes. So, it's definitely one of those games that will keep you on the edge of your seat. And if you're a fan of old school gaming history, Dragon's Lair is a must-play, not just for its gameplay, but for the impact it had on how games would evolve in the years to come. If you're a fan of fast-paced action, a killer soundtrack, and some of the most intense gameplay out there, then you know exactly what Hotline Miami 2 Wrong Number brings to the table. This game isn't just about picking up your weapon and shooting, it's about feeling the adrenaline, the chaos, and the rhythm of the action with every move. And that rhythm? Oh, it's provided by one of the best synthwave soundtracks you'll find in gaming. The music in Hotline Miami 2 isn't just a backdrop, it's an integral part of the experience, blasting through your speakers like a shot of pure energy, pushing you through every brutal level. What really stands out in Hotline Miami 2 is how well the music complements the gameplay. Imagine this, you're diving into a level, everything's going wild, and with each explosion, each punch, each bullet, the beats of the soundtrack just hit harder. It's almost as if the music is syncing with your every action, making the fast-paced twin-stick shooting feel like an exhilarating dance of violence. The soundtrack elevates the experience, turning what could have been a simple action game into something that feels more like a symphony of chaos. And let's be real, when you combine that killer gameplay with a soundtrack that could pump you up for hours, you get an unforgettable experience. Hotline Miami 2 is one of those rare games where the music and the action aren't just connected, they are inseparable. If you're looking for a game that will get your blood pumping and your heart racing while also making you feel like you're in a non-stop synthwave-filled frenzy, then this is one you need to check out. It's not just a game, it's a blood-coated, rhythm-infused masterwork. When it comes to point-and-click games, Tales from the Borderlands stands tall among the best, especially when you think of Telltale Games' incredible legacy. Known for its knack for blending story with character, Telltale built some truly unforgettable experiences. But Tales from the Borderlands somehow flew under the radar for a lot of people. Yet, it's got a strong case for being their crowning achievement. The way it weaves humor, emotion, and action into the world of Borderlands is nothing short of genius. It takes what fans love about the franchise, the offbeat humor and chaotic world, and blends it with storytelling and character development that few games in the genre manage to match. But here's the kicker. Tales from the Borderlands isn't just for hardcore fans of the Borderlands franchise. It's an adventure game that pulls in newcomers as well, thanks to its deeply human characters and high-stakes narrative. You've got Reese, a nerdy guy trying to make it big, and Fiona, a con artist with a sharp wit, both of whom make this journey through Pandora one you won't forget. And the dialogue? Hilarious, memorable, and full of surprises. It's one of those games where you'll actually care about what happens to the characters, even if you've never picked up a Borderlands title before. Now, if we're talking about the best PC games that got ported to Android, Tales from the Borderlands deserves a special mention. While the mobile version might not offer the same raw power as a gaming PC, it brings that same incredible experience right to your pocket. The beauty of the story and the clever character moments shine even on smaller screens, proving that this game's charm is not just about having fancy graphics or endless action, it's about the heart, the laughs, and the unexpected twists. For anyone who hasn't played it yet, whether you're on PC or Android, this game is an absolute must-play. Let's talk about one of the most chilling adaptations in gaming history. You've probably heard of the short story I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison, right? It's a dark, twisted tale about a super intelligent AI that traps a handful of humans in a nightmarish existence. Now, you might be thinking, how could you possibly turn that into a game? Well, believe it or not, the developers at Cyberdreams and the Dreamers Guild did just that, and they absolutely nailed it. They took Ellison's nightmare of a story and turned it into one of the most haunting point-and-click adventures of the 90s. What makes it even more impressive is that Harlan Ellison himself was involved in the game's design, making sure the essence of his twisted narrative stayed intact. The game sticks closely to the source material, keeping the atmosphere thick with dread and the story intensely personal. You're playing as one of the last survivors of a world completely controlled by a malevolent AI called AM. Each character in the game has their own tortured past, and the AI doesn't just want to control them, it wants to break them mentally and emotionally. It's not just about solving puzzles or surviving, it's about confronting deep, existential horrors that really make you think about the human condition. And let's be real, you won't walk away from this one unscathed. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. But if you're into psychological horror and deep, meaningful storytelling, this game hits all the right notes. What's even more impressive is how the game, originally released in 1995, has found new life today. Many people still talk about it as one of the most underrated PC games of its era. And if you're lucky enough to have access to it on Android, it's like revisiting a forgotten classic from the comfort of your phone. So, if you're a fan of mind-bending stories and eerie atmospheres, give it a shot. Just remember, it's not a game you play for fun, it's a game you experience. When it comes to iconic video game franchises, it's hard to argue that Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto series isn't at the top of the list. And while Grand Theft Auto 5 continues to rake in millions, fans still find themselves reminiscing about the classics. One of the standout entries, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, stands tall as a fan favorite. Sure, it might not be the best in the series, but it certainly has a strong case for it. With its neon-soaked 1980s Miami setting, it's hard not to get lost in the vibrant world it creates. The real magic of Vice City is its open-world design, which was groundbreaking for its time. From cruising down palm-lined streets to blasting through the soundtrack that includes iconic hits from the 80s, the game has a certain charm that still holds up today. And let's not forget about Tommy Vercetti, voiced by the legendary Ray Liotta. His rise from a mobster fresh out of prison to a criminal kingpin is both entertaining and engaging. The narrative, combined with the immersive world and diverse missions, creates an unforgettable experience that has stayed with players for years. Now, if you're wondering how this classic holds up today, especially in a world where mobile gaming is king, you're in luck. Grand Theft Auto Vice City made its way to Android devices, and it's just as much fun as ever. The game has been carefully ported to run smoothly on mobile, giving you the chance to relive the glory days of open-world chaos from the palm of your hand. If you're a fan of the Grand Theft Auto series or just love a good open-world adventure, Vice City on Android is definitely worth diving into. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is a game that needs no introduction. For many of us, it was a rite of passage growing up. Whether you spent countless hours cruising through the streets of Los Santos, pulling off insane stunts, or just vibing to the radio stations, San Andreas became a part of our gaming DNA. The nostalgia is real, and for those who had a PlayStation 2, it's probably one of the first games that popped into mind when thinking about what defined the console. But here's the kicker, being able to relive that classic experience on your phone, that's pure magic. It's like having a piece of your childhood in your pocket. The same device you used to check emails, scroll through social media, and make calls can now take you straight back to the gritty streets of San Andreas. The convenience of playing it on the go, anytime, anywhere, brings a whole new layer to the game. And it's not just about the nostalgia. The way the game holds up, even on mobile, proves just how timeless it really is. It's not just about the graphics or the story, it's about the experience. San Andreas was the game that took open-world exploration to a whole new level. The sheer scale, the customizations, the mini-games, it was a playground for anyone who wanted to dive deep into its world. And now, the fact that you can pull it up on your Android device just like that shows how far gaming has come. It's crazy to think how something that felt so groundbreaking back in the day is still as fun today. Whether you're revisiting it or playing it for the first time, San Andreas is one of those games that never gets old. When we talk about the best PC games that have made their way onto Android, it's hard not to mention Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition. Sure, it's a game that shows its age a little bit when it comes to graphics and presentation, but don't let that fool you. Behind the somewhat dated visuals, this game is a role-playing gem. The characters, the writing, the story, everything is still top-notch and holds up even in today's world of modern RPGs. It's like revisiting a classic that never truly gets old. The game offers a depth of choice and consequence that really makes you think about every decision you make. And if you're a fan of challenging strategic combat, you're in for a treat. From battling powerful foes to navigating complex moral dilemmas, Baldur's Gate 2 offers an immersive experience that will keep you hooked for hours. Even if the graphics aren't up to modern standards, the game's story and characters more than make up for it. You can get lost in this world for days and still find something new to appreciate every time. What makes this even better is that Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition is now on Android, bringing the magic of this legendary title right to your fingertips. You can experience all the rich, engaging storytelling and deep role-playing action while on the go. Whether you're playing at home or on your daily commute, it's a fantastic way to relive one of the greatest RPGs ever made. Now, with the added convenience of mobile gaming, so if you haven't checked it out yet, it's definitely worth diving into. Trust me, you won't regret it. When we talk about BioWare, names like Baldur's Gate, Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, and Mass Effect immediately come to mind. These are the titles that have cemented the studio's reputation in the RPG world. But there's one game that kind of slipped under the radar, despite being just as impressive: Jade Empire. Set in a stunning fictional Chinese kingdom, Jade Empire blends Eastern mythology with a rich, immersive story that's pure BioWare magic. The characters are memorable, the world building is detailed, and the combat system was refreshingly different from the usual RPG fare at the time. What really sets Jade Empire apart though is its storytelling. BioWare's knack for writing compelling narratives shines through with a plot that's full of twists and turns. You'll find yourself invested in the journey of the main character as they navigate through ancient martial arts, moral dilemmas, and a world that's on the brink of destruction. It's not just a game about fighting, it's a game about making choices that matter, and those choices shape the entire experience. Voice acting is on point, and the characters, even the side ones, are well-rounded and believable. Now, here's the kicker. Jade Empire was one of the best RPGs that many people never played, and that's a shame. If you're someone who loves classic PC RPGs and you've been looking for something fresh on your Android, Jade Empire might just be the hidden gem you've been waiting to. Thanks to a fantastic port, you can now experience this overlooked masterpiece on mobile. Whether you're new to the game or you're just revisiting it, the world of Jade Empire is still as captivating as ever. It's a perfect example of how a great game can transcend platforms and time. You know, when we talk about the best PC games that made their way to Android, it is impossible not to bring up the Max Payne series, especially the original one. Max Payne is not just another third-person shooter, it is a gritty, emotionally charged noir experience wrapped in stylish, slow-motion gunplay. It is one of those games that made you feel like you were in an action movie, diving sideways with two pistols blazing and that iconic inner monologue guiding you through every dark twist of the story. Now, most people tend to jump straight to Max Payne 3, and hey, I get it. That game was a technical and narrative powerhouse. The gunplay, absolutely top tier. The emotional weight, heavy enough to leave a mark. But what people forget is how strong the foundation was. The original Max Payne still holds up incredibly well, and James McCaffrey's voice acting as Max, come on, it is practically burned into every fan's memory. That gravelly tone, those monologues, it was like a playable graphic novel with bullets flying everywhere. Bringing this classic to Android was such a treat. Rockstar did not just slap it on mobile and call it a day. They gave us a faithful port that kept the vibe alive. Sure, touch controls are never going to replace a mouse and keyboard, but if you are looking to relive Max's tragic tale while waiting for your coffee or on a long commute, this is one of the best ways to do it. It is moody, it is intense, and above all, it is still one of the coolest shooters ever made, even in your pocket. Alright, let us talk about one of the most stylish and unforgettable adventure games that made its way from classic PC screens to your Android device, Grim Fandango. Originally released in 1998 by LucasArts and directed by the legendary Tim Schafer, this game was a wild mix of Art Deco flair, film noir storytelling, and just the right dash of Aztec mythology. You play as Manny Calavera, a dead but not gone travel agent helping souls reach the afterlife's ultimate destination. Yes, that is exactly as weird and wonderful as it sounds. What really makes Grim Fandango stand out even today is its clever writing and unique atmosphere. It is not just another spooky skeleton story, this is a fully realized world filled with quirky characters, snappy dialogue, and a mystery that pulls you in the deeper you go. Whether you are chasing leads through smoky jazz clubs or navigating bureaucratic nightmares in the Department of Death, every moment is dripping with style and charm. The puzzles, sometimes tricky, the humor, always on point. Now what is really cool is how well Grim Fandango holds up on Android. The remastered version brings updated visuals, re-recorded voice lines, and even developer commentary for the hardcore fans. The touch controls take a bit of getting used to, but honestly, it is a small price to pay to have a piece of gaming history in your pocket. If you have never played it before, this is your chance to experience one of the greatest adventure games ever made, anytime and anywhere. Trust me, Manny's World is one you will not forget. When we talk about legendary PC games that made the jump to Android, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is always going to come up. Not just because it is a Star Wars title, but because it is one of the finest role-playing games ever made. The first game, developed by BioWare, delivers that classic space fantasy vibe we all love. Jedi, Sith, lightsabers, mysterious planets. It checks all the boxes, but what really makes it shine is the storytelling. Every choice you make feels like it matters, and that twist, if you know, it still hits like a freight train, even on a touchscreen. Now, the second game, Knights of the Old Republic 2: The Sith Lords, that one is a whole different beast. Developed by Obsidian Entertainment, it goes darker, deeper, and more philosophical. This is not your typical good versus evil Star Wars narrative. It questions everything. The Jedi, the Sith, the Force itself. It is raw, it is complex, and it is absolutely brilliant. And the fact that you can experience all of that on your phone or tablet is kind of insane when you think about it. Sure, it is a little rougher around the edges compared to the first game, but many fans will tell you it is the superior story. So, which one is better? Honestly, it depends on what you are looking for. If you want that classic Star Wars hero's journey, go with the first. If you want something that challenges what Star Wars can be, the second is your game. But either way, having both of these masterpieces in your pocket is a blessing. They are not just some of the best Star Wars games, they are some of the best games ever made, period. And they are right there on Android waiting for you to dive in. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.